Hello, this is Grandmaster Reginald Stroud Sr., also known as Brother Teacher. I just wanted to address a subject that's been on my mind here lately about uh, the demonstrations that a lot of instructors put online and on video in general. And the subject basically is concerning techniques that are appealing to the eye or aesthetically appealing, but not necessarily having any practical application. Uh, we have to be very careful when we start looking at demonstrations and thinking that it's a new great thing, when indeed it's not really a new great thing. And what I mean by that is a lot of us become disillusioned by what we see because we don't understand it fully. Understand this: when you watch a martial arts demonstration, such as Aikijitsu, Aikido, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, Kung Fu, whichever system or style, Karate, whichever system or style, Jinindo, Jeet Kune Do, whatever it is one thing to stand off at a distance and watch the demonstration, but it is entirely a different undertaking to apply exactly the way what you see in real life. Again, what you see is the foundation of that particular art, and it is done in a controlled situation, in a classroom, in an auditorium, in a demonstration again, and it does not necessarily translate that way in the street. Every art has some form of kata or form, and the form or the kata is designed to teach you balance, technique, speed training, proper structure, and proper mindset. It is not the battle itself. Now, irrespective of whatever kata you might be running, be it karate, be it Korean martial arts, Tang Soo Do, Taekwondo, Harangdo, whatever, that is the foundation of your art. That is something that you practice to develop muscle memory. It is impossible to look at all of the variables that can occur in a street confrontation and say that what I learned in my kata is going to play out exactly the same way in a street fight. If we believe that, we're deceiving ourselves. I've recently seen some jiu-jitsu, some salat videos, and you have an audience standing around, and it's not the general audience. It's oftentimes masters, black belts, or other instructors or high-ranking students observing these demonstrations, and they're oohing and eyeing, or awing rather, the demonstration, and they're just totally overwhelmed at what they're seeing as if it's the newest thing since sliced bread. Come on, guys. We need to go back to our rudiments and our fundamentals and understand that bunkai, Japanese Okinawan proper, or proper form and structure, everything must have a purpose. Martial arts is based on science. It's based on physics. It's based on practical applications as it relates to the street situation. Now, of course, they all came into being at different eras, the 16th century, 17th, and so forth, and even well before that. And they had a specific set of dynamics that worked at that particular time, and many of them have withstood the test of time, and they still are practical today. But we have to still remember that we must adapt to the world that we live in. Okay? I'm not trying to browbeat anyone and say that your art is worthless, your art is not beneficial. What I'm trying to say and trying to convey to all of those who watch these videos and watch these demonstrations, don't get caught up in the fluff. Okay? It's a demonstration. It's pressure point seminars. People give pressure point seminars, and you see a willing participant, and you see a guy knocking out 2, 3, 4 people, or a dozen people, 2 dozen people, and so forth. It's already set up as that demonstration for that particular day, or that seminar or that workshop. It's already been set up. The street situation doesn't work based on a seminar mentality or a demonstration mentality. It just happens. There's a different dynamic in the street situation. When someone attacks you, it's aggressive, it's violent, it is not choreographed. You must understand that you have to be able to separate what's real and what's not necessarily staged, but what is set up in a controlled environment. Now, once we begin to be able to dissect and be able to separate and say, that's demonstration, I see the necessity in that, and I see the benefit in that, but I also know that there's a different dynamic in a street confrontation. It doesn't play out exactly the same. It doesn't mean that the techniques don't work. You have to be in a certain position. You have to be aware of your surroundings. It is a lot of things involved when you actually have that monkey on your back in a street confrontation. So stop getting so caught up in these demonstrations and giving so much credibility to what you're seeing as a demonstration as to being the real truth. Because the real truth is out there in the jungle. And once you get out there in the jungle, you will see oftentimes that it does not play out exactly the same. Okay, I love all of my brethren in the martial arts, irrespective of what your style or system is. I'm your brother in the martial arts, and I encourage you to continue to train in your art. Be vigilant, be diligent in your training. Stick to the rudiments, the basics, the fundamentals of whatever your respective art is, and it will be there for you when you need it. This is Grandmaster Reginald Stroud Sr. I love you. Yahweh love you. Be blessed.